Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Crown and today we are going to have some more stories that I hope that you will enjoy. But before we start, it would be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now, without further ado, let's go! During school, I worked at an Italian restaurant in my hometown. I have been there for a couple of years and I loved the gig. I was good friends with my co-workers and the managers were great. Over time, the management team turned over and a new general manager was hired. We will call him Fat Andrew. Andrew was a big old fat guy and a miserable person with a superiority complex. He tried to become a police officer, but he was just too, well, fat. He couldn't pass the physical fitness tests, and it seemed that his life's mission was to make everyone around him as miserable as he was. Andrew had no idea what he was doing managing a restaurant. He changed everyone's hours with no rhyme or reason. The dude wrote a schedule with no cooks on a Friday night. After a couple months, I was done putting up with his nonsense. Most of the crew, many of whom were my friends, had already quit. The last straw was when he denied my PTO request, so I could study during finals week. This restaurant had a couple industrial dishwashers and a washing machine for soiled aprons, towels, and the like. On my last day, I filled the dishwashers and washing machine with Dawn dish soup. I emptied an entire jug into those witches and turned them on. I was the only one on dish duty, so I knew no one would be around the machines for a while. They ran and I let the bubbles build up. Once the back of the place was nice and sudsy, I grabbed my stuff and walked out. The restaurant also had a beautiful pond with waterfalls in the outdoor waiting area. I filled up a cup with the blue stuff and surreptitiously dropped it into the pond on my way out. I later learned that the dish soup had engulfed the entire kitchen, so much so that they had to stop preparing food and clothes for the evening to clean the mess. And the pond outside looked like an enormous bubble bath. Screw you, Fat Andrew. Hey guys, it's Crown. Hope you're doing well. I started a brand new channel called That One Story. It'll mostly include stories coming from different subreddits, but will definitely include some entitled people getting their comeuppance. I'll leave the link in the description below, so please subscribe to the channel to listen to the latest stories, cause I'll make sure to post videos on a daily basis. Thank you and have a great day. I was working as a waiter in a local restaurant and went to the entitled mother and son. As I got close, she gave me a look. She almost looked disgusted, and then she said, "How many times do I have to ask for white waiter? Get out of my face!" I was appalled. Then I went to the manager and he didn't do anything because apparently he couldn't lose customers and I couldn't lose my job. So I went there and said, "Sorry ma'am, I'm the only waiter available." And her son said, "Let's get out of here, mom, since his kind works here." But his mom looked to be in a hurry. She told him something I couldn't understand. Then she looked back at me and said, "Give us 2 Cokes and some chips," in the most condescending tone ever. I was angry, about to lose it, and I just said quietly to myself, the P word in Spanish, which means a B word in English. But she somehow heard me and said, "Are you American? Tell me now." And I said, "No, I'm from Brazil." And she just looked at me and started calling the police and she said, "Help! There is a dirty immigrant. He's going to steal my money." And I was so dumbfounded that I didn't notice it until it happened. Out of nowhere, she started attacking me and punched me in the face while her son grabbed the money that fell out of my pocket. I went instinct mode and just punched her. I then heard a cracking sound and she was on the ground, knocked out. And my hand was hurt because of how hard I punched her. I just stood there not moving and the kid just stared at his mother on the floor and started crying. And then the manager came and started shouting at me, "What are you doing?" Then we heard some sirens outside and it was the police. And one cop who said, "Put your hands where I can see them. What the hell happened here?" And I said, "She just attacked me and I don't know what to do. We have some cameras around the place where you can see her attacking me." The cop made some kind of signal with his hands and the other cop said, "Wait here. Don't move." After what felt like an eternity, he let me go and placed the handcuffs on the entitled parent who had just woken up, and her kid was crying at the moment. And then the cop said that we could go back to whatever we were doing. He asked if I wanted to press charges, and of course I said yes. Then I looked over at the manager and said, "I also quit." I took off my apron and threw it at the table. After I pressed charges, the entitled mother tried to also press charges on me for the damages, but she didn't get any money from me since the court said it was self-defense. I still remember this woman to this day. Sometime last decade, I moved to a new state after several years of being a hobo, vagrant hippie with the intent to start a new chapter built on responsibility and normality. I found a cheap apartment, but a week after moving there at a rip-off rate, the ceiling exploded with water because of an upstairs leak. I'd found a job on Craigslist working on a construction contractor. When I told him about my housing issues, he said his landlord has a place I can rent. The place was a one-room shack with a majorly unfinished bathroom. I showered with a water hose through the window for $500 a month. Not great, but an upgrade from a tent. It was right behind the landlord's house and right beside my boss's small two-bedroom kind of tiny house in much better condition. I happily lived there and slowly worked on improving the place over the course of the next few months. I got to know the landlord well and helped her out a lot with various things, and it was overall pretty nice. But then one week the boss man said he couldn't pay me because an investment he'd make had gone way downhill. But he'll pay me everything when we finish our current job next week. Nothing I hadn't been through before. Then the next week comes and he still can't pay me for another 60-hour week. I tell him I've gotta buy some food, and he gives me cans of corn and beans from his cabinet. Okay, another week and he still can't pay me. Now I'm pissed and I tell him as much. Tell him I gotta pay rent now and he still hasn't paid me any of the thousands he owes me. He comes back with "You're being super ungrateful. I got you this place to live and I've been a good boss. You're a jerk, and you know what, prick? If you come at me like this again, you can pack your stuff and leave. But for now, I will pay your rent, so don't worry about that and I'll pay you when I pay you." Well, since I had gotten to be on good terms with the landlord, I thought I'd just ask her for an extension on rent this month while I look for another job. If she said yes, I'd ask my boss for the rent money he was going to pay her. So when she gets home from work, I tell her, "Hey, I hate to ask, but can I have an extension on my rent this month? Boss hasn't been able to pay me for the last few weeks, and so I need to get a new gig. And I'd also like to keep some money to buy, well, food." And she got so pissed. It was awesome. Her response was almost verbatim. "What the hell? That jerk. He's always been a selfish jerk. You go tell him to get his stuff and move, because you're moving into his place and he can sleep on the street for all I care." I told her that was not necessary and all, but she marched over and argued with him for an hour. At the end, he came to my place, gave me $600 and then left. A few days later, he came back, packed up and moved out. I got a new better job and rented his furnished, nice little place at a reduced rate. This all happened pre-pandemic. Back in 2018 or 2017, I was spending a lot of time trying to balance my life between business/work and just having time to exist. And my solution was to just do the things that I loved and share them with friends or whoever wanted. One of the things I was doing a lot was practicing free diving as much as I could. My favorite spot to do so is a place called Laguna Dudu. Look it up, it is actually a cool place to visit if you are ever in the Caribbean. I fell in love with that place years before after my first visit, which is a funny story maybe for a different subreddit, and became friends with the administration and staff, to a point that I was just a regular, and everyone treated me not like a guest but more like a friend that came by. On this visit, I got there early, had my tent all set up and was just getting ready to do a couple of dives. It was hot, so I had my wetsuit have fun when I see this very excited little girl and her kinda lost mom, I assume, looking where to go. Because I know the staff, I know they don't speak any English and the lady doesn't look like she knows any Spanish. This is paraphrased, but not quote-unquote though. I tell her, "Hi, English?" She says, "Oh hi, yeah, awesome, you look a little lost. What are you looking for?" Because the place is an open place, sometimes guests are looking for a bathroom, not knowing they just came from the only good place with a good bathroom. She says, "I don't know, we got separated from my group because I wanted to see the place, but I don't know where is that." "Oh, that's easy enough. Would you like a tour? I really love this place and I'm on my way down anyway." I lower myself down to the little girl's height and ask, "Would you like to see the Tino Cave?" And the little girl's eyes lit up and she looks at her mom with the, Can we, mom?" I look at the mom too and she just gives me a smile and a nod. A little context about the place. It was originally just empty land that the owners used to farm and keep their ostriches. With time, the owners saw the potential for tourism and adapted the place for visits, and they have been improving ever since. It's the only Senate-type lake divided by land, but still connected by underwater caverns naturally in the Caribbean. According to the owners, there is one in Mexico but is man-made, so when you come in and pass a ticket gazebo, you can only see grass, trees and 20-meter cliff going up, a little rock wall and a pass that takes you to the bigger gathering area. Not knowing that past that little rock wall is a 10-meter drop to a beautiful water hole. To keep it short, we walked around. I gave them all the information that I had, like the one I just mentioned in the above paragraph, explained how and what to expect, and some recommendations from a regular on how to really enjoy the place, and I ended back at my tent. I forgot my flippers. And this is where the I don't work here moment happened. The nice lady says, "Oh my god, thank you so much for this. It was so helpful." She extends her hand to me with the equivalent of a $20 bill in it. I'm looking at the money and a little confused. What is this? It hits me. "Oh, no. That's not necessary. I don't work here, ma'am. I just really love this place and don't mind sharing what I know. Wow, you've been extremely nice to us. You deserve this, please." No, it's okay. It was just me being me. It is not necessary. So we went back and forth like this for a little while until she got this look on her face of, "Okay, you little brat, I'll show you." And in a quick decisive motion, she puts the money in my right hand, closes my hand in a fist, and without missing a beat or letting go of my hand, pulls a $100 bill from her pocket and says, "You either keep that or I will give you this." She stares me down for a second and I'm in shock. Then, in a proud manner, she goes, "Yeah, that's what I thought." She proudly smiles, and starts walking off. I get a cute bye from the little girl. And just like that, I snapped out of my shock thinking, did she just threaten me with more money? And it worked? And that's it. The only time that I've been shot down by a person by threat of more money. So to the nice lady at Doodoo, if you ever read this, well played. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.